Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Lincoln High of Stockton will be returning this kick from left to right across your computer monitor. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. I am Greg Cotta, broadcasting on your home for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com. Franklin High going to kick a high, shallow kick that's going to be kneeled down on the 25, and we get to get a good look here at the Lincoln High offense. For Lincoln High, there are a couple very notable names, including their quarterback, Mr. Greenlee, who decided to verbally commit to Fresno State. So he is a senior on his way out, trying to make the most of his career at Lincoln High in Stockton. Zach Greenlee, that is. And also, rather notable, is he has a running back beside him that we will get to in just a moment. Here's Greenlee dropping back, rolling out with options. Deep throw downfield. Had to throw it away. If you were to argue an intended receiver there, it would have been Stephon Robinson, one of the team's leading receivers. And that's going to make it 2nd and 10 from the 25. Very rainy night, as you may be able to see from home. As the weather is very dark, the traffic is very, very heavy. And Greenlee's going to hand off to his left side, and that will be the 215-pound running back, as I was just about to describe prior. His name, Justin Davis, a 6'1" senior. And this is a very competitive matchup, ladies and gentlemen. I will be joined by Jason Patterson in a few moments as we get everything sorted out here in the booth. And again, thank you so much for joining us for this kickoff. 11:45 on the game clock. Greenlee's going to line up from the gun. Drops back, rolls out, designed screen. And that third down attempt is not going to be near enough for first down. However, Osha Washington was there on the reception. And now, just like that, Franklin High is going to be able to return this kick and get an opportunity to have the ball with less than a minute, with more than 11 minutes left in the first quarter. Standing back on his own 31 is the return man for Franklin. That, of course, being Tavon Lampley, who's able to get it and hops out of bounds at the 25. So that punt is going to net a good 42 yards, 43. So here comes the Franklin offense. Quite a high-powered school, as they are currently ranked by MaxPreps.com as the number 2 team in Northern California. Now, for those of you who are familiar with sports in the area, these two teams met last year, and Lincoln High in the playoffs gave quite an upset to Franklin. As motion is called to the right, going to be a draw up the middle to the halfback. Great room, able to break for several yards. Christian Fonbuena on the carry there. And that's a first down and then some. And just like that, Franklin is rolling. Now, as I was saying, they met last year, and Franklin was eliminated by Lincoln. So it's a grudge match. They have history. And these two teams, I can guarantee, are very ready to be facing each other. Here's the drop back and another run to the right side. This draw is not going to go for much, though. 1.5 yards and maybe 2. 10:30 on the game clock in the first quarter. For those of you just tuning in, for those of you not familiar with the sport in the area, this is the section championship. This is it. This is what everybody fought for. One team gets to advance. My apologies. This is the round prior to the championship, as I did misspeak there. Draw over to the left side. And again, that's not going to go for much. Good work by the front seven. of Lincoln High. 9:50 on the game clock. And 3rd and 9 is what it's showing, but in my opinion, I'm going to call it closer to 3rd and 8. In terms of, in terms of yards per game, in terms of completion percentage, Spallis, the Franklin quarterback, of course, is not the leader. However, that's only because there's another guy who is 2 for 2. But Spallis, 1,100 yards on the season. But as you've already seen so far, as that good run goes to the left side, probably not enough for the first, though. This is a run-first team, and they're going to be punting it away here. So just like that, back and forth at midfield is the situation. And neither team is really able to get much. Franklin, though, at least walking away with 1 first down. Lincoln with a 3 and out. Back to return for Lincoln High is Chris Valeros, who is going to let it bounce at the 20, keeps going, rolls out of bounds at the 15. Good punt there by Franklin High. The punt coming from what looked like Elliot Husher. And just like that, Lincoln gets the ball back. 8:42 on the game clock. And Lincoln is going to try to push their well-balanced offense forward one more time. 3 wide receiver, trip bunch over to the right. Going to be a run to the left weak side. There's Davis with room initially, but boy was he gunned down by number 4 on the defense, Steven Rogers. Steven Rogers listed at 5'9", 185, but boy does he know how to make up for it with his speed. And just like that, 2nd and 10, 8:20 on the game clock. Franklin High getting the play from the sideline. Franklin High, for those of you just tuning in the white jerseys with red letters and silver helmets, and we are actually going to get a timeout from Lincoln High. But in the purple and white is the ginormous roster for the Franklin High Wildcats. And my goodness, for playoffs, ladies and gentlemen, you add people to your roster. You bring up kids from JV. You really buffer it out. However, if my numbers are correct, there are 77 people on this Franklin High roster. I don't know how they can have that many helmets even, but boy, is it impressive to see this many purple jerseys lined up, spanning from the 30-yard line to the 30-yard line. Again, just over 8 minutes on the game clock. And that's when we want to dive into a bit more about the numbers for Lincoln High. Greenlee, 72 for 156 on the season with 1,100 yards and 11 touchdowns. Has a QB rating of 89, but when you see him roll out of the pocket, as we've seen before, here he does stay in. 3-step drop, goes over the middle. Powerful throw off of his back foot, but it was nowhere near target, and that's going to make it 3rd down and very long. 133 carries for 830 yards, averaging 6.2 yards a carry is Davis. And that would be why, if nothing has changed on my information, he did verbally agree to USC prior into the season. Now, verbal agreements are just that. They're verbal, nothing's in writing, so who knows where he's going to end up next year. But he and Greenlee together are really quite the tandem. 3rd and 10, Greenlee from the gun. 3-step drop, has time. Deep throw all the way downfield and just leads his target a little bit too much. Nigel Vega, number 8, hit his fingertips, and he was not able to bring it in, but he was led a little bit too far. but still does Greenlee have a cannon of an arm. And here comes the punting unit for the second time of the day. 4th and 10, 7:59 on the stopped clock after the incomplete pass. And the punt return team is out. Low snap, and the right-footed kick goes back, bounces at the 50, and ends up rolling its way to the 33-yard line. So there's going to be a pretty big switch, as what it looks like here is, my apologies, I was not able to get the look on the left end of the field. That low snap, the punter ended up taking a knee to catch it. His knee touched the ground. So that is a very unfortunate turn of events for Lincoln High. And my goodness, Franklin is going to get the ball on the 1-yard line, run up the middle, and we're waiting for the word. Purple says arms up, and that's the call. What a change of events. A great punt works its way 60 yards down the field, does not count. And Franklin is going to be on the board. So, easy job there for the Wildcats. Meanwhile, for the Trojans, a bit more of a difficult situation. Number 33 for the Wildcats is going to be taking the kick, as the knee is down on the 10. Kick is up, and definitely good. That kick, Tyler Rommel, a 6-footed senior and a right-footed senior, makes it 7-0. So Lincoln is going to get a chance here to get another kickoff. Back to return for Lincoln is number 2, Chris Valeros. Chris Valeros, also a smaller person for this level of competitive football, listed at 5'10" and 160 pounds. Thank you so much for joining us here on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. Kickoff lined up on the 40. And Lincoln High is going to have to work pretty hard to recover from that one, especially emotionally speaking, because, as my apologies, it looks like returning for Lincoln High is indeed going to be Justin Davis, except the kick is squibbed. And that is because they do not want that boy to have the ball in his hands ever if they can handle it. But that's obviously not going to be the situation from here on out. So the kick was squibbed just a bit, and it looks like the ball is going to be spotted 61 yards from the end zone on the 39. 3-back formation lined up, power to the right. Greenlee going to hand it off to Davis. Davis patiently follows his blockers, but boy was he stuffed. Tackle there coming from number 21 on Franklin High, Marcus Green. Marcus Green going to be able to come in and fill that gap. And that was a big stop, as we mentioned. Davis, one of the tougher running backs in Northern California to stop. The clock continues, and we're at 7:35 left in the first quarter. Greenlee gets the play from the sideline. Now, currently, Franklin is showing 3 down linemen, and well, it looks like 2 down linemen. Yes, 3 with blitz showing on both sides. Davis takes the handoff, gets around the left side, and he's got plenty of room. Breaks once, breaks twice, gets all the way to the 40. That was a gain of nearly 20 yards. And ladies and gentlemen, that is why they are squibbing the kicks. They do not want this 215-pound senior to be running with the ball under any circumstances. And that is exactly why we're going to be calling his name a lot for the rest of the evening. An injury is currently down in the backfield, though, near the original line of scrimmage. And that looks like a defensive tackle for Franklin High, and once we get that information on which player that is specifically, we will gladly relay that on to you for those of you concerned at home. But the training staff is currently surrounding him. It looks like he has 3 or 4 people. So this could be a very serious injury. So we're actually going to step aside for just a moment, and we'll be back once this gets cleared up. This is PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot.
3:16 left to go in this ball game. I formation, 3rd and 3 from the 45 of the Wolverines. And this time, holy cow! Dion almost hands it to the Westview player. He's going to run this to the 5-10. Touchdown, Wolverines! How did that happen?
Jason
That was
Snyder.
Holy cow!
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Greg Cotta alongside Jason Patterson. And that injury turned out to be okay. Player was able to get off of the field under his own strength. Here's Greenlee dropping back, staying at the 50. Deep throw, and the post route does not quite work out. He has the arm strength, clearly. He's shown that several times already today. However, his deep routes just don't seem to be on target today, Jason.
Yeah, most definitely. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for me stepping in a little bit late. Had to run a little bit of the camera action. So definitely interested to see how this game's going. Franklin's already off to an early start here as they took advantage of a mishap on a punt. So Franklin's off to the good start, trying to beat Lincoln here at home, technically.
Right.
Since we are at a remote location at Cosumnes Oaks High School here in Elk Grove, California.
Here is Davis taking the run over the left side, and boy, does he go with a full head of steam. And he is able to make 4 or 5 yards look like no effort, but it is still 3rd down.
Yeah, he's been solid all year long. He's touched the ball already 133 times for 830 yards with 10 touchdowns. Yards per game is 118.6, so anytime you can average over 100 yards per game, that's just absolutely just astonishing and just a great weapon to have there in the backfield.
Kind of scrimmage by this Franklin High defense.
Yeah, well, I was upstairs doing a couple of the camera action up there. I heard some of these fans and parents out here, they're screaming out. They're not used to the speed there on the outside talking about the Lincoln High Trojans. So obviously these Franklin Wildcats, they pride themselves on having some speed on that defensive line and also in that linebacking core. So they're hoping they can contain Davis here tonight and go home and advance, or go on and advance in this playoffs.
Here is a 4th down attempt in go-for-it territory. Greenlee drops back. Out route, no good. Intended receiver there was Stephon Robinson, and that is just not going to work out in the slightest. It seemed like even a miscommunication. Tough break there on 4th down.
I drank that one.
All right. As we sort out our water situation here up in the press booth. 5:22 on the game clock, and again, Franklin High is leading 7-0. I formation with motion, handed off to the wide receiver, number 18, Trevon Lampley. And Lampley's end-around attempt isn't going to go for much, maybe a gain of half a yard.
Yeah, the only problem with those end-around plays is that if you don't catch the defense off guard, it's usually all up to your wide receiver at that point to make a bunch of people miss. He made a couple people miss with a nice move, but unfortunately it was just to make it a no gain instead of a positive gain. Well, it looks like he actually got one, so he is going to be a 2nd and 9. But, yeah, that end-around is mainly just try to catch the defense off guard. Once you see the defense isn't off guard, you just try to get it back to the line of scrimmage and go on to the next play. That's why they usually call that on 1st or 2nd down.
Yeah, Steven Rogers currently in the fullback slot. However, he is 5'9", 185, and, well, never mind, he can block. Look at that run, breaking all the way down the field. Finally pushed out of bounds is the halfback. And that is going to be a huge run. And boy, was that, a run like that, Jason, it's so easy to give the running back all the credit. And although he deserves his credit, that was all blocking, in my opinion.
Yeah, that was definitely all blocking, but he did have the speed to get through those blocks before the defense was able to get off of him. So it's a combined effort definitely down there on the offense.
Harris on the run there. And here comes another run to the right side. And like the other first down, not going to go for more than a yard. 4:33 on the game clock.
So we had a 2nd and 9 here for the Wildcats.
And we get the play call from the sideline. Everybody checks their cheat sheets. And on the other side, Lincoln High showing blitz. End around with blocks. Works. And, well, that is when it goes right, Jason.
Definitely, yeah. Looking to catch that defense off guard, and that time it worked, and it looks like he got enough to pick up the – nope, they're going to give him just a little bit short. So it's going to be a 3rd and short here for the Wildcats as they just move into opposing territory. So they're going to look to pick up this first down and keep moving into Trojan territory.
Trevon Lampley was, again, there on the end around. Good to see the coach put his faith in him as this draw goes up the middle and easily secures the first down. Then some, pushing over the secondary and working all the way up to the 32-yard line.
Yeah, Harris just looked like a beast on that one, just kept moving his feet, moving the pile forward, and he picks up the first down, gets that chain gang moving, and definitely looking good here for the Wildcats, already up 7-0, and looking good here on this drive, trying to make it a 2-score game.
Again, play being checked by the entire is moved to what looks like 2nd and 5 with 3:05 on the game clock in the first quarter. Subbing into the game right now, Robert Sanders, number 20. Robert Sanders, a junior. And this seemed like a bit of a unique time stoppage, and no word from the PA on what the referee was doing exactly, but this is going to be a drop the middle, and it's not going to go for really anything. On the run there, though, was Fonbuena, who we can expect to be hearing that name much frequently throughout this game, as he has been having a great season.
Yeah, most definitely. He's coming in on 117 carries for 761 yards and 8 touchdowns. Unfortunately for him, he is not the touchdown leader as Harris is. So the combined efforts between Fonbuena and Harris, they are just devastating there for the running game of the Wildcats.
From the gun, throwing to his target on the left side, and incomplete is being called from the referees. Deontay Young was the intended receiver there for Spallis, but he hit his target, couldn't quite bring it in.
Yeah, Deontay Young's pretty upset with himself. He's slamming his hands into the ground. He knew he should have made that catch. Unfortunately, it's a little bit wet out here. They are playing on that turf that holds the water nicely. It looks like as the field's a little bit shiny if you can't tell from the lights. So a little bit of wetness down there. Probably slipped right out of his hands. That's unfortunate for the Wildcats, but they are going to go for it here on 4th down and 4.
Every coach has a play ready for this situation, but perhaps Franklin High's coaching staff is not feeling too confident, and they decide to call a timeout.
Yeah, that's Coach Michael Johnson for Franklin calling the timeout, probably seeing a little something into the defense as he wants to pick up this 4th down. If he can get his Wildcats up 14-0 here to start this first quarter, that's going to be quite positive going on into this game. You want to keep Lincoln off bay, maybe give yourself a little bit of breathing room to give up at least one touchdown to the dominance of Zach Greenlee and also Davis in the backfield.
Yeah, Justin Davis and Greenlee. Now, Greenlee has not quite been on target tonight, but the plays that have not worked out if they had, multiples could have been touchdowns already.
Yeah, if there was a couple of long bombs across the middle of that. If he just puts a little bit less air on it, he hits his receivers right in his hands for 7 points. So we'll look to see if that happens here as this game continues.
Lampley trots to the far side of the field. Franklin working from right to left. Drop back, and it's going to go. A play action is going to hit Christian Fonbuena, and Fonbuena is going to get pushed out of bounds, looks like just before the end zone. And, yep, that's going to be the 2-yard line, despite the thoughts of every purple jersey on the sideline.
Yeah, including me standing up here. I could have swore I seen a referee put his hands up, but nonetheless, this side judge over here was holding the one finger in the air, meaning first down, so he must have stepped out of bounds before he dove into the end zone. As I can see, the pylon is knocked over, so definitely somebody went over that pylon, but must have stepped out of bounds first.
Fonbuena really able to do some damage when open in the flats like that as the draw cranks up the middle. Driving legs puts number 17, Karan Harris, into the end zone, and he's going to continue leading the Wildcats in touchdowns.
Yeah, that's going to be Harris's, let's see. Let me get to it. Excuse me, everybody. 16th touchdown of the year.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's a nice amount of touchdowns, especially when you have teammates with 8, 7, 8. Yeah, they all like to score the touchdowns on the rushing plays, do these Wildcats. So a lot of constant weapons in the backfield. Definitely hard to defend, as it's proving here with already a 14-0 lead over the Lincoln High Trojans.
Tyler Rommel's right-footed kick is up and good. 14-0 with 1:49 to go in the first quarter. And boy, is this game possibly getting out of hand. But as we've seen from Davis and Greenlee, the two of them can score at the drop of a hat rather easily. And Franklin is now huddling up for the kickoff. And it looks like I can only expect them to not kick deep to Davis again, or at all, or continue to not kicking deep to him, because he can turn it upfield rather quickly, as he's shown from the backfield of the offense. So he almost guarantees that the kick will not go past the 20-yard line.
Yeah, so far that's been correct, as these Wildcats have not wanted to seem to test this special teams here of the Trojans. So they just give it a little couple pooch kicks and hope their gunners get down there quick enough to make the tackle. So let's see what they do here on the second kickoff of the night for them. I think, right?
Third.
Yeah,
the Lincoln definitely received first, and they haven't been able to do much with it. And those 3-and-outs definitely make it look like it's going a lot faster. Pooch kick is going to go toward the 30-yard line. Knee is taken, and Lincoln High Trojans are going to be starting from the 29-yard line.
That was definitely a smart take there by that up man, calling for the fair catch and taking a knee. You don't want to risk any hits or fumbling the ball there on a kickoff. I like that. That was a smart play, smart special teams play there.
So here's Davis and Greenlee. Tend to be the names that we drop from up here in the booth. Two fullbacks lining up on the right side. Davis runs left. Davis is able to slide his way for a gain of 11.
Man, he looks like he does that with ease. When he gets through the middle, he just turns on those jets. He's got good ball carrier vision.
Yeah, it's really that patience, and that's something that you don't really see at a high school level. You'll see the athleticism, you'll even see the football IQ, but for somebody to trust his offensive line, wait for his blocks, and then turn on the jets, it's really exciting to see. And boy, do I feel lucky to be seeing it in person. Alexander sent into motion, and Greenlee decides to hand it off to Davis. Davis bounces off a few tacklers, only gets a gain of 1.
Yeah, that was good defense by the Wildcats. That time they met, the ball carrier took him down for a minimal gain. They want to try to contain Davis as much as possible. They've been doing a fairly good job of it so far, only allowing him to break off for a couple big runs, but not even letting up probably more than 15, I think, on a run. So definitely keeping him under wraps so far, as we're about to click down to the 50-second mark of the first quarter.
Yeah, there are tight ends and fullbacks galore here for Davis. And Davis is going to get stopped in his tracks, but not after gaining about 3 yards.
Yeah, that was good defense again by the Wildcats, only allowing a couple yards. Is going to bring up a third and I'd say about 5 or 6 for the Trojans. So let's see if they call another play here or let this click down to the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, it's looking like they've got the huddle, and Greenlee is running with the play, so I think they're going to try to get this one off just before the end of the quarter. Now as we get down to 12 seconds, Greenlee and Davis lining up in shotgun. 2 wide receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Greenlee drops back. Has enough time, throws off the back foot, hits his target. What a beautiful throw to end the corner.
Yeah, that was a beautiful throw and a nice catch by Osha Washington out there. He was wide open. They let him get out there far, and Greenlee laid a beautiful pass. Pretty much Washington only had to look up, and next thing you know, the ball was right in his arms. You don't draw that up any better. What a play to end the first quarter.
So, score is 14-0 at the end of the first, and as the offense works its way from the right side of the field to the left, we have some words here from Jason Patterson.
Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the PlayOn Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP. Also, PlayOnSports.com is not only your destination for Friday night football action, but it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championship events in all sports from across the country. PlayOnSports.com. High school sports lives here. I just want to add in on a little of that. If you want to tune in tomorrow, we will be going down to Vallejo to cover the girls volleyball championships. So that ought to be interesting. I think that game starts at about 7 tomorrow night. If you guys want to tune into that on PlayOnSports.com, as we cover all of championship sports in the high school level. If they play it, we will cover it.
And that's what we like to actually. I got to tune into a bit of your broadcast with, I believe it was El Camino, correct? Yeah, they've got some studs there. Congratulations to them on their section championship for their division as we start the second quarter now. And you were broadcasting along Mr. Jeff Kurtz.
Yeah, we went out there and actually covered 3 games, as there was six games played at UC Davis last night. Or all day yesterday, and they had the basketball court split in the middle, so 2 games simultaneously, one on each side of the basketball court.
As 3 backs, including Davis, line up. Davis goes left side and pushes over a defensive end before finally getting brought down by a gang of tacklers.
Yeah, he looked quite mad that he had met purple jerseys on that one, and he was not looking like he wanted to go down on that, as it took about 4 to 5 purple jerseys to bring down 1 white. So he seemed pretty upset, and it proved that as it took so many guys to take him down.
So second down, coming from the 10-yard line. And same formation, but now with a wide receiver lined up on the far side. Full house. And it is going to be a throw for Greenlee. The throwing situation, Greenlee rolling, brought down hard. He held on to that ball for just a little too long. And boy, did he pay for it.
Yeah, he was looking for his wide receiver in the back of the end zone. Unfortunately for him, he was blanketed by a defensive back. He just tried to roll around and make a little bit extra work. He couldn't make it happen. Took the sack. I might have even thrown that ball away as he had the defensive back not quite looking at him. But nonetheless, takes the sack as it brings up a 3rd and 23 here. So definitely going to make it interesting. But as far as I could see so far, I don't think the Trojans have kicked a field goal or attempted to kick a field goal. So this could be 2-down territory here. Or 4-down territory, sorry.
3rd down and 23 from the 24. Greenlee able to evade in the pocket. Throws on the run. And the catch was dropped. What a throw. As that was definitely the most dangerous throw of the night, but his receiver couldn't bring it in. And that's going to make it 4th and 23.
Yeah, even as dangerous as it was, he did have a wide receiver open. He made a very nice throw, too, and the receiver was able to get it into his hands. But, again, I think that wetness out there is starting to affect the way these kids catch the ball. as that ball kind of slipped right out of his hands.
10:21 on the game clock. And the Lincoln High Trojans are going for it. 4 wide receiver set from the gun. Greenlee finally brought down again. This Franklin defense is a team of juggernauts.
Yeah, that was led by number 7, Joey Banks on that one. They both get back there and take down Greenlee, as Greenlee was looking to try to make that play all by himself. That's going to be nice field position here for the Wildcats, taking over with a 14-point lead, and they're getting the ball at about the 37, 38-yard line. So looking good here are the Wildcats to begin this game.
Riley Simmons also in on that tackle. Riley Simmons listed as a tight end / defensive tackle. He's one of the seniors on this Franklin High team, listed at 6'3", 220 pounds.
It's a big boy.
Not somebody you want to get hit by. Strong I formation going to the right, and it's going to be a pitch.
Harris is going.
And Harris has room. Harris still moving down the sideline, still on his feet.
Oh, man.
Stumbles into the end zone. What a run! As you hear the air horns and we see the fans jump up in front of us, it's a 20-point lead for the Wildcats.
Yeah, Kyron Harris is just looking amazing tonight. He took that one, and he took it all the way. He looks like he might be limping a little bit, or a little bit of stiffness. So we'll keep you posted on that as he gets to the sideline. But what a run by Harris nonetheless. Yeah, he is limping a little bit.
As it could be, his leg was pulled on a little bit before he got in the end zone.
Yeah, and that's what he's telling the coach right there is when he got pulled a little bit back.
And he's hobbling. He's being seen to by the trainers. Kick is up. Kick is good. And with 10 minutes to go in the second quarter, Franklin High has a 21-point lead.
Yeah, what a way to come out here and start this game. Only 10 minutes to go here in the second half. They're ready to go on and take on the winners of Granite Bay versus Downey, who is playing right now. And, yeah, they are ready to go. I believe they are the 1 seed as far as I know. So
they definitely are. They're currently undefeated on the season.
Yeah, if they win here, so they'll get the winners of Granite Bay or Downey to come out to here, I would believe.
I think that is the case, as Franklin High is playing their playoff games here.
Which is a very nice facility, I might point out.
Yeah, it's a beautiful field, and we get the opportunity to be in a press booth.
Yeah, very nice. We want to give a shout-out to Victor Adams up on top in the rain. Well, sprinkles. Let's not call it rain yet.
It's still cold.
It's very definitely cold. I'm in here with no jacket, and he's probably up there in gloves and beanies. But shout-out to Victor.
Yeah, Victor holding down the fort upstairs, bringing you this camera footage that is currently zooming in ever so steadily into the, but now just a couple more seconds taken off the clock.
Yeah, let's see if they can't go down and get some points here. Down 21-0. There's still a lot of football left to be played, though, so don't let the score fool you, as high school games can have a huge turnaround sometimes. So let's see if this Lincoln High Trojan offense can't calm down and go get at least 7 points here on this drive.
Shotgun for Greenlee. Greenlee's going to hand it off to Davis. Davis is going to make a quick cut, and he's able to turn that into something. 2nd and 8.
Yeah, that was only a couple of yards there for Davis. This Trojan defense does not look, or excuse me, Trojan offense does not look like they expected the Wildcat defense to come out so pumped up and full of adrenaline, and they're out there just stopping the run. They know exactly who they need to stop, as in Greenlee or Davis. So they know the two weapons, and you can tell that the Wildcats have covered their footage this week on the Trojans.
Again to Davis, this time to the left side. And he was met by numerous tacklers. However, Joey Banks is going to receive credit on that tackle, as he was first in and last out.
Yeah, he's definitely a name that we've said already a couple times. So maybe they put Joey Banks on a bunch of footage and said, these are your two people you have to stop here, Greenlee and Davis. And so far, he's gotten a sack on Greenlee, and he's also taken down Davis for a couple minimal gains. So Banks is out there doing exactly what this defense for the Wildcats needs to do.
Several defensive backs playing deep. Greenlee on the run, throws the ball into the ground. Davis brought down late, but it was clean as he did make contact with the ball, and the clock's going to stop at 8:38.
Yeah, this Wildcat defense, they are just out here playing excellent football to start this game. They are not going to let these Trojans come in with their explosive offense and run all over them and pass all over them. They are stopping anything and everything the Trojans are throwing at them, and I'm amazed. I was expecting a little bit more of a shootout here between these two solid offenses, and then this Wildcat defense shows up, and we're here 21-0, and the Wildcats getting the ball back.
Punt is a great snap, and boy, is that punt going deep. Bounces a Lincoln High bounce and works its way to the 25-yard line. That's where it's stopped by Theron Palmer, number 40, for the Trojans. So now with 8:28, Lincoln High's defense needs to come out, and I think it's safe to say that this would be a very important stop, considering they haven't done so in quite some time. And when they did get one, the punting unit, or when they did get one, it ended up going the other direction ultimately. And 3 touchdowns is not easy to come back from for the Lincoln High offense. Lampley sent into motion, and that is so that he can get the ball on the end around, and he just steamrolled a safety.
Yeah, they are looking amazing on the running game. Are the Wildcats? They're just picking apart this Trojan defense. They're finding the holes. They're running through it. They're nice blocking. Everything is working nicely for this offense so far, and it's showing with the 21-point lead right now.
In this situation, motion comes again, and the receivers are going to go deep, but it's going to be a draw play up the middle. And that goes for a gain of 9. Nothing is stopping the Wildcats. And the Wildcats on defense are stopping everything for the Lincoln High offense.
Yeah, they're looking amazing.
It's firing on all cylinders here. As you know, typically in these situations, we expect it to be a bit closer. But Franklin High is really confirming this number 1 seed as a run somehow gets through the pack. First down, gain of 5, and now Franklin High is already 45 yards from the end zone.
Yeah, they are just driving, moving those chains, doing everything that they need to do. I don't know if this coach, Michael Johnson, could be any happier right now. His Wildcats are doing anything and everything that he has asked for, and they're looking real good while doing it.
Shotgun formation now for Franklin as Spallis decides to hand the ball off. Great blocking opens up for Rogers, and Rogers is going to break past every layer of that defense. Easy first down.
Yeah, you definitely, they start the play. You see a bunch of white jerseys, and you see one purple running right through them all. It's kind of amazing how this defense has not filled their holes the way they should, and the Wildcats are just picking them apart. They're looking, I can't stress enough how well they are looking here tonight.
6:44 on the game clock. In striking distance now is Franklin as they run off to the right side. That is Fonbuena, and that is another touchdown. Can you believe it?
No, I sure can't. That is amazing how well they are running the ball tonight, and it's anybody who touches the ball.
It's anybody and everybody. Yeah. It's 6:32 on the game clock now. 27-point lead as of the second quarter.
Yeah, so far I believe it's Harris has touched it, Lampley has touched it, Fonbuena has touched it, Rogers has touched it. Every single one of them has just been able to just get at least 10 yards anytime they touch the ball. It's starting to get nasty out there.
Snap is held by Peyton Simmons, and the kick is up and good. So 28-0 is the score, and this running crew for the Wildcats is making it pretty easy for their quarterback, Mr. Spallis.
PlayOn Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you giving you news and information and links to great highlights. Follow us at PlayOn Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. You can also access thousands of live and on-demand games at YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
So here we are with 6.5 minutes left in the half, and Lincoln High needs to find something. They had one deep pass completed, and that got them to the 10-yard line at the end of the first quarter, so they came into the second with momentum, but it just did not pan out. This kick goes all the way back to the 10-yard line. Quick cut leads out of bounds, and number 10, Deshaun Campbell, is going to get...
Cats, go score.
It's really amazing because I do want to emphasize this Lincoln High Trojans team. I got to see them play at the beginning of the season. They did lose to Elk Grove. However, they had a phenomenal game. This team has a load of talent, including this guy right here. Davis able to stumble his way past several attempted tacklers, gains 8 on the play, and a good start to the drive for the Trojans.
Yeah, that's what they need to do here is pick up some yards on first down, keep those chains moving. They need to worry about first downs here. This game is a game of inches. 10 first downs equals way more than a touchdown unless you start on like the 1-yard line. So they need to just keep working on getting each 10 yards that they need and keep it moving.
From the right hash mark, Davis up the middle, and he is going to fall past the first down marker, so 11 yards on 2 carries there. That is about par for his season, as he is averaging over 6 yards a carry coming into this game.
Yeah, that's exactly what he needs to do and keep those chains moving. Like I said, he needs to find those holes, and this offensive line needs to give him some holes. As we were talking about earlier, the kid has great ball carrier vision. He likes to follow his blockers, but if there's no blockers to follow, he's just going to go down possibly, with this explosive defense from the Wildcats.
From the gun, Greenlee drops back, decides to hand it off. And that is going to be not Davis on the run there. And that is to my surprise, and very much so, as I could not get a number from here, but that back definitely had a great run there, gain of about 6. 4:53 on the game clock. And a 28-point deficit for the Trojans, currently trying to make something out of this drive. They need to get on the board before halftime. 2 wide receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Low snap. Greenlee almost lays out his wide receiver. His wide receiver, number 5, Stephon Robinson, was able to keep his feet under him there. But collision made him drop the ball, and it's going to be 3rd down.
Yeah, they really need to pick up this first down if they want to keep their offense out there. As they've gone for it so many times on 4th down, I don't think they want to continuously do that. So hopefully for them, they can pick up this first down and keep this drive alive, as they desperately need to get some points here before halftime with only 4.5 minutes to go until half.
Davis in the single back, going to work left, and he's brought down. What a tackle. Robert Sanders was able to read that perfectly, and here comes the punting unit, down 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, that was absolutely amazing right there. He got in the backfield, made it look simple as he got back there and took down the ball carrier and brings up a 4th down, and it looks like the Wildcats are going to be getting the ball back.
Yeah, Wildcats punt returner currently standing on his own 25, as I hear a scream from the fan, a supportive mother yelling, yes, they can feel the pain. 3:48 on the clock. Punt is a high punt. Fair catch would be called. Didn't quite make it far enough. However, it's going to be downed at the 20 by Deshaun Campbell.
Yeah, that was a nice punt there. It's going to pin the Wildcats, not really pin, but it's going to put them right about their 20-yard line. So fairly solid punt. Let's see if the Trojans can't make a stop here, as so far this Wildcats offense has just been absolutely amazing and have constantly kept scoring. The Trojans need to make a stop right here.
So Trojans' defense has been really ran over here, and that is really the only way I know how to put it. Motion called, and it's going to be an end around. Going to Lampley, and he's able to get around the corner. Gain of the referee is marking it around 5. 3:29 on the game clock, stopped after being pushed out of bounds. And Lampley is really racking up the yards here. As I say again, Trent Spallis, a talented quarterback, does not need to throw the ball at this point. So here is a run up the middle, and this is unbelievable, Jason. I mean, it really, like you said, it doesn't matter who's carrying the ball. There it was Steven Rogers. But everybody on this Franklin High roster seems like they can go down the field for a touchdown.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing the way this running game has been going so far, as it looks like it might be the first loss for the run game so far. A little bit of an update for you guys here, since if you guys are tuning into this game, the game that I'm about to let you guys know about is quite important. Granite Bay is leading Downey 35-14 in the second quarter. So the winner of this game between the Franklin High Wildcats and the Lincoln Trojans will face the winner of Granite Bay and Downey. And as of right now, Granite Bay, like I said, is leading 35-14 in the second quarter.
And we do want to credit Lincoln High on that stop there. A big loss there. Went for 6. It's going to be 2nd and 16 now. And maybe I spoke too soon. Spallis may have to throw here. And no, it's going to be a run to the left side. Fonbuena is going to get
almost all of it.
Almost all of those 16 yards. It looks like he got a gain of 11 there. And so it's going to be 3rd and 5.
Yeah, that was a good run by Fonbuena. It turned a 2nd and long into a 3rd and short. So this running game again from the Wildcats is proving to be too much for the defense of the Trojans.
So the Franklin High Wildcats getting the call from the sideline, and it's actually going to be 3rd and 4. And Spallis is going to drop back to throw. Nope, he's staying on his feet. Brought down in the backfield. What a big stop. Number 3, Curtis Young gains on the tackle there. And it's going to be 4th down around midfield.
Yeah, that's exactly what the Trojans wanted to do here. They need to get this Wildcat offense off the field. Unfortunately, it looks like they might go for it here on 4th down. They're trying to put the nail in the coffin.
And it's that midfield area where you don't want to quite punt it, and honestly, with the success their defense has had today, and with the 4-touchdown lead now ticking down below 2 minutes in the second quarter, it makes sense that Franklin High here could go for it as they're completely in control. They decided to use a timeout now. That's their second timeout of the game. Clock stopped at 1:49, and they're going to talk over this 4th down conversion here.
What do you think they're going to do here on 4th down? Do you think they're just trying to draw them off sides, maybe, possibly?
Well, with 4 yards, it seems like something that they could do. I mean, a 5-yard penalty would get them the 1st down. But, it makes sense. They've got 1:49. They still have another timeout. But they have so many options here because their run game has been so dominant. My professional opinion, I have absolutely no clue.
I like how you came to that conclusion after a long couple sentences. I enjoy that. But I agree. If you're going to go for it, might as well go for it on the run game as it's been so dominant so far. So I wouldn't doubt if you are going to go for it that you wouldn't see the ball on the ground.
1:49, and Franklin is coming out of their huddle. And a 49-yard field is in front of them, only asking for 4. And actually, nope, it is going to be the punting unit.
So that's what the timeout was
So that's
all
what the
about.
timeout was. They said, you know what, we don't need to do this. And they're going to, they feel that they have enough wiggle room to send it back without giving their defense too many problems. And the punt is a spiraling punt, right-footed punt, bounces, and that ball hit Lincoln High. Franklin High picked it up. They're in the red zone.
Wow. That is crazy.
Lincoln High cannot catch a break. This is a completely different game than what we expected here. Minute 40 to go in the half. And if the play still stands, the referees are talking it over. And, you know, 2 referees signaled it to 2 other referees. And they may make them kick it again.
Uh-oh. There goes the break that you were talking about.
Yeah, and that actually, no, that was a break that was long overdue. And a delay of game, or excuse me, illegal formation is going to be called by the referee. So that ended up nullifying the technical fumble, and a 5-yard penalty is going to be added to Franklin High. And I spoke too soon once again. That was Lincoln High's break. They cannot take that one for granted.
No, definitely. You want to make sure that you got a minute 40 seconds here to go. Looks like they have 2 of their timeouts, so let's see if they can't do something to go down and get some points. Another little update for you guys here in the area. Buhack Colony versus Antelope. Buhack's down 13-14 at halftime there. That game is being played here in Antelope right outside of Sacramento. So, yeah, there you go.
There it is, and that's a much closer game than the other ones we've been discussing, as Granite Bay still does have a 21-point lead over Downey. And to remind our listeners and viewers, the winner of this game plays the winner of that game. Here's Greenlee running from the spread, Davis to his right. Drops back, hits his target, good quick step, 3-step drop. And Stephon Robinson able to get the reception, however, did not get out of bounds, and the clock's going to continue to roll.
Yeah, for you fans at home watching on your computers, I'd like to say that you guys can go ahead on over to PlayOnSports.com and bring up a couple of windows, and why not watch a couple of these nice playoff games coming here from the Sacramento area. If you're curious, you can keep tuning into that Granite Bay Downey game, as we are covering that game as well. So put the split screen up and watch your team win and watch who you're going to play next week. So go ahead and do that at PlayOnSports.com.
1 halfback, 4 receivers. Greenlee drops back 5 steps. Deep throw down the sideline, and there was contact there. And there is Laundry on the field, so I think that is going to be a guaranteed first down and a clock stopper.
Yeah, that was a lot of contact there. It was a lot of hands. It wasn't too much, but it happened to go right past that side judge, and he's going to call that every time if you run right past him and you guys are hand-smacking each other.
Now, we get conversation and defensive pass interference. I saw some purple hands pointing the other direction as we hear boos from the fan. I'm going to keep it objective up here, and I'd say that was a good call.
Yeah, I agree. Unfortunately for Lincoln of Stockton, the rules are not like the NFL, and they don't get it at the place of the foul.
Right.
They're only going to get 15 yards here, but still 15 yards in the positive direction.
And that guaranteed first down,
right.
And more importantly, the clock stops, because right now, down 4 touchdowns, the clock is Lincoln High's biggest enemy.
Yeah, 1:04 on that clock. They do have 2 of their 3 timeouts, so still a couple of opportunities to stop this clock.
4 wide receiver set. This time, Davis to the right. Davis stays in and block. Greenlee throws deep. He hasn't thrown a ball under 15 yards all game. Bumbled around. It's a catch. Holy cow. That was a called catch from 2 referees.
That was amazing. And as I'm standing up here, I hear the fans go, "Did he catch that?" I was thinking the exact same thing. And sure enough, the referee signals that he does. Amazing. The arm that Greenlee has, he literally throws the ball just beautifully, just floating with that tight spiral through the air. The refs are like talking to each other over here, but there is no video instant replay, so yeah, I don't know what they're going to want to call on that.
There's nothing to discuss. No, I wish I could see it again. I know I'm going to tune in on the archived footage of this game just to see what happened there.
Yeah.
But the clock's going to stop at 54.7 while the chains are set. Referee is going to jot down a few notes on the reception there, by the way. I believe it was Ravon Alexander, a backup quarterback, only he's more specifically a wide receiver, a junior as well.
So,
and
to keep you guys, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but to keep you guys updated, it does look like that game, Granite Bay versus Downey, has gone to halftime with a score of 35-14. So, Granite Bay leading there against Downey, 35-14 at half.
And thank you for the update. The clock now rolls again. Greenlee seems patient. 40
seconds left.
And it's a run up the middle for Davis. And that's a fumble. That hit the turf.
Wildcats ball.
Wildcats ball. Unbelievable again. And maybe they used up their luck a little bit too much on that fumbled kick return that ended up working in their favor. As we do have an injury here. Clock stopping at 31.5 because of the change of possession. Ball is wiped off.
Man, I can't imagine what Lincoln of Stockton is thinking right now. They can't do anything. They looked pretty good on that drive. That was probably their most solid drive of the night, and it ended with nothing. You got absolutely nothing from it. You ended up fumbling. I was almost just going to say I didn't like the run play with 40 seconds left, and then he fumbles. So
yeah, I think it was supposed to be just a conservative call. They do have 2 timeouts still.
Yeah, I think they were just trying to get a little bit of extra yards, catch them off balance, and call their timeout. But unfortunately,
they were off balance themselves.
Yeah,
and
it's a little wet out there.
There is currently an injury, one of the bigger offensive linemen. As again, this turf very new, very slippery. Thank you again for joining us at this point. 31.5 seconds in the first half. And it looks like this leg is being stretched out, and we will have more details as soon as we gather them. But, here, thank you again for joining us here on PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. Again, 30 seconds left in the half, and for those of you just joining, the white-helmeted, purple-jerseyed Wildcats of Franklin High have been all levels of dominant here, leading by 4 touchdowns in the first half.
I'm going to call them the purple people eaters or the purple Trojan eaters tonight because they are eating up this Trojan defense.
It's really a spectacle to watch. And like I was trying to take a moment to say earlier, Lincoln High is a darn good football program, as it looks like this injured player is able to get up, and that would be number 54, who is Colton Millette. Colton Millette, the team's starting center. So that could be something that is problematic. We'll keep our eye on it. Let you know if he comes back to the action. But again, Lincoln High, a great football program, especially historically speaking. I grew up near the Stockton area, and it's a high school that is frequently discussed. And here come the Wildcats taking a knee, and that's going to do it for the half. Ladies and gentlemen, the Wildcats are currently doing everything right, and Lincoln High is trying to catch a break. Halftime is going to be really important. Both coaches, over here on this side of the field, Purple's going to have a lot of good things to say, and Lincoln High, adjustments need to be made.
Yeah, there's only one thing I tell my kids in the locker room if I'm Coach. Let's see, do I have a coach here? Brian Gray for Lincoln High. I'm going to tell them that they need to wake up. You did not come all the way out here to Sacramento to lose. They need to play ball like they have. They demolished Merced last week 52-7, and they have yet to put a point up on the board here against this Wildcat defense. Not taking anything away from the Wildcats at all, as they are coming in here undefeated and ranked 1 or seeded 1 in this division. So obviously they are the powerhouse here, but I definitely expected Lincoln to get at least a touchdown, maybe 2. But they need to get Greenlee and Davis moving, and yeah, that's going to do it.
The bad news gets a little worse. Franklin High will be receiving at the start of the second half. We're going to step aside. We'll be back. It is halftime, and because it's football, second half is always more important than the first. Let's see what these two teams have left in them when we get back. PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot.
3:16 left to go in this ball game. I formation, 3rd and 3 from the 45 of the Wolverines. And this time, holy cow! Dion almost hands it to the Westview player. He's going to run this to the 5-10. Touchdown, Wolverines! How did that happen? That was
Snyder.
Holy cow! He was in the backfield before the running back could even get the handoff. He took the handoff from Dion.
He took the ball right out of Dion's hands and just...
Holy cow!
Can't say I've seen that one very often.
Snyder comes shooting in from the A-gap. I think Dion froze when he saw him. He's ready to hand off to his running back. He froze when he saw him and just let him have the ball. 12 seconds to go.
Oh, you could hear a pin drop.
5, 4, 3, 2. Get the snap off. Last play of the game. Brewster rolls right. Gets away from 2 sacks. Dons wins. Sack at the 20-yard line. What a game.
And number 40, Lucas Zinder with the game-saving sack. And there is heartbreak on one sideline and a jubilation on another.
Offset eye for the Grizzlies as Keeney takes it under center. They'll send a man in motion, pitch back to Bird on the sweep. Bird finds a seam. He might go, folks. 20, 15, 10. Drags a tackler. Touchdown! Bird goes 38 yards for the touchdown on the sweep. One more snap is all it's going to take, and there you have it, folks. Your 2011 Division I Sac-Joaquin section champions, the Granite Bay Grizzlies, as they defeat Pleasant Grove 30-24.
Jacqueline Williamson. Her serve is over. Dug by Holt. Giblin going back to Holt near side. Cut shot. Kept alive. Back in one by Cathedral. And this one is out as Castanon Hill sends it wide. And the Cathedral Dons have won the title 16-14 in Game 5.
Thomas with the ball, swings it out to Norris. Cameron Taylor tried to block that one away. Norris with a strong take, blocked by B.J. Anya. Huge block. Robinson leading the break the other way, gets it to Grant. Slam dunk Jeremy Grant off the feed from James Robinson. What a play by the Stag.
Runner at third is Chavez. 8-2 the score. Bottom of the 7th. The 1-2. Popped in the air. This should do it. Cortopassi says it's mine. Now he's fading on it. And he can't make the catch, but Gaff comes in from center field and does. Congratulations to the St. Mary's Rams, a three-peat. They win it 8-2 against Franklin to take the series 2-0.
But this is time to run an offensive set that you've done all through the season in practice.
Yeah. And you also, you get it to your hottest player right now. Just like they're getting it to Eichhorst right here. He's going to try to create some space, find somebody on the backside that's open.
Eichhorst flush out to the right. Oh, breaks free of a player. Eichhorst on his own. Shoots and scores. Bounces a shot home. Kuz can't handle the shot. Eichhorst takes off the shirt and the helmet. And how about that? Alex called it. Eichhorst, after sustaining the injury in the third quarter of play, has scored the game winner with 22 seconds gone in the overtime period. Dogpile on the field. Marin Academy take it. A fantastic finish to this game. And, well, I hope his other ankle isn't hurting after this.
Hancock to his immediate left. 2 receivers far side, 1 near side. Hancock on a counter, right side. He's inside the 10. He bounces off a tackler at the 10. The 5. Touchdown, Helix. And behind Hancock, the field is littered with white jerseys on the turf.
Wow. Hancock not to be outdone by his fellow playmakers on offense. put on a show on that short 12-yard touchdown run. Looked like he was down after 3 yards, just threw a defender on the ground.
As sophomore Chris Carter steps under center in their tight wing formation. Lycos in motion. Second back through is Freeman. Freeman just knocking people over. Look at him run. Breaks through. 4 tackles. And now it's just a foot race to the end zone. And Freeman's going to go the distance. Touchdown Imperial on the first play of the second half. 2nd and 6 for Imperial from their own 47. They're going to give it to Freeman again off the left side. And Freeman gets by one wave and down across the 40-yard line. Still on his feet. Look at him run down to the 20-yard line. One man to beat. Gets by him. Touchdown Freeman. How did he do that? Holy cow. 64-yard touchdown run. His 5th of the game. Royce Freeman, ladies and gentlemen, you're about to see the top rushing, and as I look over to our partners at KXO Radio, the top rusher in the San Diego section for the next 2 years.
That's just amazing. That is just amazing. They hit him in the backfield. They hit him at the line of scrimmage. They hit him a couple of yards downfield. They hit him again near the goal line.
Keep those Lowell fans quiet over there.
Lum sets it up to Pang. Long, it's out. Low, a magnificent 7 titles in the San Francisco section in dramatic style as they pull out a fantastic victory over a spirited Galileo Lions team. They win the 4th game, 31-29, and they take the 2012 Academic Athletic Association San Francisco section title.
Officials say no 5-second count can be started. Nobody was close enough defensively. Lyle's going to swing left side. Robinson. Here is a backdoor lob for Grant. They've been wanting that all game. And they got it, 50-42. They lulled you to sleep, and then they hit Grant on the back door.
They trail by 2. McMorrow's kick is on the way, and it is good. St. Augustine has their first lead of the game, 21-20, with 25 seconds to play. The senior McMorrow with a huge kick, not the longest of his career, but the biggest of his career. St. Augustine leads it 21-20.
Already lining up. They won't even have to run that one more play. They just acquiesce.
Why bother?
So there you have it. Your 5-time defending Division III champions, the Cathedral Catholic Dons, running up over and through Olympian 41-0 here from Qualcomm Stadium.
Patriots down 21-17. Great ball game here. Dillon taking it, looking right, throwing it up top to Gaines. It will be caught by Gaines. Oh my goodness. It looked like the defender had it, but Gaines stole it away from him. Jason Gaines, are you kidding me, my friend? Oh, boy. It looked like for sure we had an interception by the Tories, but as they both were going to the ground, Jason Gaines just wrestled it away from him. Shane Dillon to Jason Gaines on an 11-yard play.
Fanchen in the game, now out, replaced by Hayashi, the libero for defense. Wenzel serve. Championship point, ball up in the air. Hayashi's going to bring it back. Richards, deep one over and 3. Free opportunity. Look for Wallace. No, they go Becker. Hayashi, then tap over and 2 by Hollingsworth. Now look for Wallace for the match.
Kathleen Wallace. No better way for the Bulls to finish it than giving it to their senior leader.
25-12, 25-15, and with 8 straight points to close out their 3rd straight D5 championship on a kill by Kathleen Wallace. 25-21 in Game 3. Branson has won the D5 title.
To the backfield, it's Hernandez and Northcutt. Set to throw is Thomas. Has time. Goes for the home run. It's intercepted in the end zone. Seemed like they tried to go to Martin, and Martin slipped. Stockton, Hillmore, and Escalon. That's going to do it, folks. Victory formation, take a kneel. The clock comes out. The Clock will tick down. The players jumping up at midfield. I think I see a Gatorade. Did we have a Gatorade shower?
We most certainly did. Casey Taylor getting the shower there. Very much deserved.
Down to 12.
Great tackle there by Ronald Williams there to make the stop for Helix.
And the Helix fans are starting to celebrate here. This is going to be the final play. 5 seconds. Pow will hand it off. And they're going to get in the end zone. Touchdown. That's Keegan who gets in, but that's going to be the end of the ball game. 44-6 will be the score. So Oceanside scores on the final play of the ball game.
And gets a consolation prize just to make this is kind of say that, hey, we didn't get shut out.
So 44-6 is your score. And Helix is celebrating on the sideline. Oceanside streak of 7 straight championship games has been ended.
2 minutes and 5 seconds left on the clock. Clock rolling. 3rd down and 15 for the Patriots. Dylan, he's got time, steps up. He's going to chuck it deep. He's got a man open. Seth Collins with a diving catch. He hauls it in at the 25. Oh, my goodness.
I'll tell you right there. Dylan goes to show why he is a Division I prospect, as he's able to step up, elude the pressure, see Collins down the field, and make the connection. As I'll tell you right now, there has not been a bigger catch for Seth Collins this entire season.
Fans nervously wait on the far side. Trips right. Vernon, the lone receiver to the left. Troy Zine rolls right. Here we go. And he's going to be... Oh, he gets away, but can't get away from the second slew. Vacaville takes over on downs, and the crowd erupts. So does the sideline. Got to watch it. Got to watch the sideline here.
Yeah,
Remember,
really
they were up
stepped
35-26. 2 unanswered touchdowns. That's going to do it, folks. Your 2011 Division II Sac-Joaquin Section champions, the Vacaville Bulldogs. They win 39-35 in a classic.
Although they have no timeouts, they'll get the ball on the sideline, try to set something up. They can get a couple dribbles and a shot.
I tell you what, that was a gutsy call there by Coach Aguiar. Oh, what a shot! I tell you what, Javier Kirksey, from well beyond the three-point mark, takes the inbound pass, throws it up off the glass, and nails a three. And you've got the finish to this Cinderella story as the Ridgeview Wolfpack win the Division III boys title 43-40. And what
Caroline Martin to serve. Is 3rd time the charm for Palo Alto. Martin over, dug by Irvin. Lauren, backside, Bedard Ghani, long, and that's the ball game. And Palo Alto comes from behind. They were down 13-8 in Game 5. They win it 17-15.
Koenig, who will continue to play baseball at the next level. He is going to Central Arizona. About 45 minutes outside Phoenix and Coolidge.
This pitch is hit in the 5-5 hole. Nice grab and throw over to first base. Ori Wofford. Full extension dive to his right and gets Tillinghast by a step.
3-point game.
Down to 5 seconds. Wilson from straight away fires a 3. Go! And that will send it to overtime as Wilson drains the 3 at the buzzer.
Straight on look, and he got it for that big bucket.
Jones, long outlet. January's got an opening. January with the left hand.
Can't leave him in a lane like that to the basket. He'll put it right through it. And that's what he did that time with the strong dunk.
He brought the house down with that one.
Now 2nd and 13 for the Dons from their own 24-yard line. Bogart's 3-step drop now flushed out. He's rolling to his right. Looking downfield, lofts it to Hines. Hines with an amazing grab. Did he get that in bounds? He's still in bounds, running by himself to the 10-5 touchdown. Wow. Unbelievable catch. An Olympian defense thought he was out of bounds, and they just stopped playing. And Hines, with a headsy play, just sprints the other 30 yards into the end zone. And the Dons now extend their lead, 13-0.
Little jumper at the
Right at the elbow for Peters.
White with
Here
the
we
dish
go.
to Gordon. Phi slamma jamma.
I don't even think Valley Center will have to snap the football. They will not. Santana puts on a rush at the end. They travel 91 yards to make it a one-possession game. They try the onside kick. They almost executed it. But a Gatorade bath for the offensive coordinator for Valley Center. Congratulations to Coach Gilster and his staff. Valley Center is your winner in Division 4, 20-14 over
the seventh inning.
Unbelievable here with 2 outs. Probably our 25th full count of the day. Of course, it's going to be the pressure pitch here with 2 outs in the final inning.
Here it comes, full count. York delivers, pitches, swung on, grounded back to the mound. Will they go home? He fires down to first. It's scooped out. Did he get him? He did. Acalanes are the Division III champions of 2012. And what a game. And Johnny York is able to field the comebacker and fire down to Spencer Henderson in time to get Jonathan Wachtel for the 3rd out in the bottom of the 7th inning. Dog pile right in front of the pitcher's mound. And Acalanes take a 4-0 victory over Tamalpais. And what a game, Tom.
Maybe they just got to practice for their celebration.
Yeah, well, let's see if they can do it twice.
Oh, good serve.
They got to get their
by
head in
Kemp.
the game.
Oh, what a save there by Fleet. Ooh.
It's
Is
4.
that it?
And there's your championship.
There it is.
And this time, champion
A
Christian.
little less
so.
enthusiastic.
Well, this time they looked at the officials to make sure before they went to celebrate.
Right.
And that'll just about do it. Here's Wilson, though. He's going to put up a 3, no good. Boy, if they did a couple of those, that might have made things a little interesting here in the last few seconds. But instead, the Stags are going to win it 74-64. DeMatha is your national division champion.
With time now for just a couple more plays. De La Salle will be awaiting the fate of the State Bowl Championship to determine their place in the final weekend of the high school football season. As De La Salle, as time ticks down now to the end of this game, which is 30 seconds remaining, have won their 20th straight North Coast section title.
Maybe you get a first down, but then the clock's going to run thereafter.
Helix has brought in their speed rushers. They're going light on the line and sending everybody with speed, and they're chasing Hetherington. Pass is complete. Smith is going to get it out of bounds, but he's going to lose a yard. With 11 seconds now, 10. The clock continues to move. I'm surprised they didn't say out of bounds. They're making him get up to the line quickly. Del Oro is going to run out of time. That is the ball game. The Highlanders win it 35-24 to take the Division II championship. The California State Bowl game in Division II is complete, and the Helix Highlanders are your champion.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you.
One shot.
.316 left to go in this ball game. I formation, 3rd and 3 from the 45 of the Wolverines. And this time, holy cow! Dion almost hands it to the Westview player. He's going to run this to the 5-10. Touchdown, Wolverines! How did that happen? That was
Snyder.
Holy cow! He was in the backfield before the running back could even get the handoff. He took the handoff from
He
Dion.
took the ball right out of Dion's hands and just
Holy cow!
can't say I've seen that one very often.
Snyder comes shooting in from the A-gap. I think Dion froze when he saw him. He's ready to hand off to his running back. He froze when he saw him and just let him have the ball. 12 seconds to go.
Oh, you could hear a pin drop.
5, 4, 3, 2. Get the snap off. Last play of the game. Brewster rolls right. Gets away from 2 sacks. Dons wins. Sack at the 20-yard line. What a game.
And number 40, Lucas Zinder with the game-saving sack. And there is heartbreak on one sideline and a jubilation on another.
Offset eye for the Grizzlies as Keeney takes it under center. They'll send a man in motion, pitch back to Bird on the sweep. Bird finds a seam. He might go, folks. 20, 15, 10. Drags a tackler. Touchdown! Bird goes 38 yards for the touchdown on the sweep. One more snap is all it's going to take. And there you have it, folks. Your 2011 Division I Sac-Joaquin section champions, the Granite Bay Grizzlies, as they defeat Pleasant Grove 30-24.
Jacqueline Williamson. Her serve is over. Dug by Holt. Giblin going back to Holt near side. Cut shot. Kept alive. Back in one by Cathedral. And this one is out as Castanon Hill sends it wide. And the Cathedral Dons have won the title 16-14 in Game 5.
Thomas with the ball, swings it out to Norris. Cameron Taylor tried to block that one away. Norris with a strong take, blocked by B.J. Anya. Huge block. Robinson leading the break the other way, gets it to Grant. Slam dunk Jeremy Grant off the feed from James Robinson. What a play by the Stag.
Runner at third is Chavez. 8-2 the score. Bottom of the 7th. The 1-2. Popped in the air. This should do it. Cortopassi says it's mine. Now he's fading on it. And he can't make the catch, but Gaff comes in from center field and does.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. 1 minute on the clock here until the end of halftime. However, there's a good chance they're just going to skip that last minute as both teams are ready. Welcome to PlayOnSports.com's internet broadcast of a wonderful showing by the Franklin High Wildcats. Franklin High receiving in the purple jerseys on the left side of your screen. They are currently leading 28-0 at halftime. Lincoln High, a lot of adjustments need to be made. Greg Cotta alongside Jason Patterson. And, you know, ladies and gentlemen, it has been an unreal showing by Franklin High on every level. Honestly, their offense, their defense, the first half was all Franklin. And Jason, I'm going to have to ask you, you know, Lincoln High, they had some good things looking good, but even when they did it right, it seemed like the Franklin High defense did it better.
Yeah, that's definitely a good way to put it. Franklin has just been all over Lincoln so far here tonight. They have obviously watched their film on these Lincoln Trojans, and they are stopping anything and everything that they are throwing at them. And not to mention, are they stopping them? They're just dominating on offense as well.
Right.
Their running game has been unstoppable, as we're going to get a little squib kick here.
And it is almost fumbled by Franklin, but the return man or receiver able to get on top of it. That was number 12 for Franklin High, Peyton Simmons. Peyton Simmons also the snap holder on extra points, for those of you keeping track. 2 seconds burned off, and here comes the ever so dominant Franklin High offense. Also, for those of you interested, Downey versus Granite Bay. Granite Bay currently leading 35-14. However, it looks like we got a big penalty going on that Jason might be able to elaborate on a bit more.
Yeah, it looks like a hands to the face there on that one, but let's get to the Wildcats versus Trojans here.
Yeah, definitely. So the Wildcats here running a sweep out to the right side, gain of about 3.
Another update here for the area. Buhat Colony took the ball at halftime to start the second half. So, and they went down and scored and got the 2-point conversion. So they are currently leading the Antelope Titans 21-14. That game is being played in Antelope. And then, yeah, here we are with 11 minutes, 30 seconds to go in the third quarter. Franklin getting the ball first, got 5 yards on first down, brings up 2nd and 5.
Shotgun formation for the Wildcats, and that's going to be a quick draw up the middle, gain of depending on which referee you ask, 4 or 5, and the head referee is marking first down. So I think that, nope, they're going to mark him just a bit short, 3rd and inches.
That was Stephen Rogers on the carry there for the Franklin High Wildcats. Just solid rushing so far in the game from the Wildcats. They haven't really met any resistance from this defense. Let's see if they can get this 3rd and short.
2 backs and a draw up the middle again. And that's going to be definitely enough for a first down, gain of 3.
Yeah, that's a good first down. Moves the chains.
That's what you do.
Yeah, you want to get right back into it, right where you left off here on the first half, and that first down is going to. We got a timeout by the referees for some reason.
As they are going to make sure that the spot is correct and
right. Here we go.
Stop the clock to move the chains. And here we're moving again. Again, 2 backs alongside Spallis. And Spallis is going to hand it off to Fonbuena. Fonbuena is going to get brought down by a gang of tacklers. Now that is the emotion and the pep in the step that we didn't see from Lincoln in the first half.
Yeah, I agree. They came out here to start the second half, and they are looking a whole lot better. It took them 3 whole downs to get the first down, the Wildcats, and then on that first down there, they get nothing. They need to continuously try to stop this running game, and so far here in the second half, they have done a fairly good job at it.
Strong I formation, and an end around is going to go to Lampley as usual, but this time he's only going to gain about 3 yards, 3rd and 5.
I don't know if the Wildcats has had to do 2 back-to-back 3rd downs on a drive.
I can't say for sure. I don't think it's happened yet.
Yeah, I don't think so either with the way this Wildcats has been averaging the yards on the ground. But nonetheless, a 2nd, 3rd down here on this drive. And let's see if the Trojans can't get a stop here and get the ball in their offense's hands and try to get back into this game.
Pushing 4-down territory depending on where this play ends up. No blitz being shown. Spallis is able to get the first down through the air. And, he hasn't had to do that much, but when his number is called, he's looking great tonight.
Yeah, he's really looking pretty solid out here as the Wildcats get another first down. It's almost too much. These Wildcats offense is just ridiculous. Well, they're like looking like a well-oiled machine right now, and just constantly moving down the field, picking up first downs, and just looking fairly good out there. I don't know if anybody in the area can stop this Franklin Wildcats team if they play like this for the rest of the playoffs.
Motion, no end around. And it's going to be a pitch to the outside going to Fonbuena. Fonbuena's going to get it around the corner, finally brought down by number 2, Chris Valeros for the Lincoln High defense. And it's bittersweet right now for Lincoln because, yes, Franklin is moving, but it's safe to say that Lincoln is looking way better than they were in the first half.
Yeah, just another little bit of an update. Granite Bay went down and got a touchdown, so they are leading Downey 42-14 in the 3rd quarter.
So
with 7.5 minutes left.
So it's looking like they are en route for a win there. But, it's football. Anything can happen. Here is a run coming from Harris. As we mentioned earlier, leading the team in touchdowns. He's going to get the first down and then some. Ball on the 26.
That's good to see, too, that he's back in the game. He had a nice big run earlier in this game for a touchdown and was seen limping off the field. And it's good to see him back out there. As you can see, he's got a bunch of tape on his feet, so he got all taped up at halftime. He's ready to go, and he's looking pretty good out there already to start the second half.
And all the skill position players checking their cheat sheets. 3 wide receiver set, 2 to the right. Spallis going to hand it off, and there was a big stop there by the entire Lincoln front 4. Rogers on the carry there, and it's going to be 2nd and long. As a Franklin High player, not slow to get up, just tighten up the old laces. 2nd and 7, 7:52 on the game clock. And Franklin just about to enter the red zone unless Lincoln does things a little differently. Spallis tries to keep it himself, and they did not have a chance there. That was interesting to see as he had the option to hand it off to the halfback, but the halfback was not there to receive the potential option as he tried to pick up the blitz instead. So miscommunication there, a rare one at that for the Wildcats, but regardless, 3rd and long. Spallis now getting the play directly from the sideline. And it's fun to watch this entire offense check their wrists.
Down to the wristbands.
And it's just going to be a pitch back to Harris, and Harris is not going to get around the corner, and it's 4th down from the 23.
So let's see what they do here on 4th down, leading 28-0. They're at the 25-yard line, as the scoreboard tells me. I don't know if that's correct. Nope, 23. So this would be a 40-yard field goal from here.
Yeah, that's not
high school range.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any movement from the sideline. Nobody even looking to the coach to see if they're going to be put into kick. It seems like everybody knows this is going to be a go-for-it situation. Lincoln needs to stop whenever they can at this point, and this is going to be one of their better situations. And Franklin's going to burn a timeout with 6:10 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the PlayOn Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP. Also, don't forget to stay tuned for the PlayOnSports.com postgame show, where we will select our player of the game, as well as wrap up all the action from this ballgame. That's coming up following the game on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
6:10 again on the clock in the 3rd quarter. PlayOn Sports, your destination for high school sports. We are here broadcasting from Elk Grove, California. Not at Franklin High, though, or as the local home team, as they move to this field just about 2 miles away. A bit more seating, a more comfortable press box. Here's the shotgun formation. Play action thrown over the middle, hits his target, and number 18, Lampley is, yes, he's going to make it in. And there is another touchdown for Franklin High. 34-0, and here comes the kicking unit.
Another update, too. Buhat Colony starting to pull away in their game against Antelope as they went down and scored another touchdown. But looks like they missed. Oh, they did get the extra point. So 28-14 is the score there. Buhat Colony leading Antelope.
Here is the kick being lined up. Lincoln trying to show blitz, and the kick got up regardless. And Lincoln had the pressure, but they didn't have enough. 35-0 here.
So 4 rushing touchdowns, and now to start the second half, they throw one.
It's Jason, that tone, that phrasing, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
You nailed it. I mean, they came out running all over when in the first half, which is, typically when you are more concerned about clock management. And here with the lead, they decide to step back and throw one. And all right, so Lincoln High coming out a little bit differently here, as it looks like they're moving their returner Davis a bit closer to the center of the field, as Franklin High has been shamelessly kicking anywhere but where he is. They are doing what they can to neutralize him, and he looks good, Jason. He's playing a good game. It just seems like, when you can't ask too much of your running back if he's being tackled by 4 or 5 people.
Yeah, that's definitely. It's a little bit much. It's a team game. You definitely want to have a couple people out there blocking for you. But, man, this Wildcats,
Yeah, we've gotten to see him play earlier in the season, but we have not seen a level of competitive dominance like this. On the return there is Osha Washington. And he was able to work it for a little bit. Going to get stopped around the 30-yard line.
Man, what a game this is so far for the Wildcats. Anybody that they get put in front of, they are just taking down. They have just been constantly demolishing teams throughout the year. Oh, man, they are really proving to be that number 1 seed. I am not going to be surprised if we don't see them come. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if they went all the way and possibly took the state championship.
You know, with the way they're looking right now, nothing stopped them tonight, that's for sure. Here's Davis going over to the right side, and he gets stopped by a gang of tacklers. And he had no opportunity there, and that's going to be 2nd and 10.
I've got to imagine that the frustration is starting to build for Justin Davis as he comes into this game with so much. You know, he's averaging 118 yards a game on the ground. And I'd be surprised if he's at that 18 at this point. I mean, like, they are just really, really good as the Wildcat defense. Under 50 yards to hold Justin Davis in a half is just absolutely amazing.
Shotgun now for Greenlee. Greenlee going to take the low snap, throws over to the side, got his target, and it's going to be 3rd and short.
They look like number 1 Osha Washington on the reception there for the Trojans. That was a good pass on 2nd down. Makes this 3rd down a little bit more manageable. Only need to pick up 2 yards to move the chain, so hopefully they can get that done and keep this drive alive, as I really haven't seen them much even in the Wildcat territory this game. I believe they've crossed the 50 like once or twice and then stalled at about the 30, 40-yard line and have to punt or fumbled.
Shotgun formation for Greenlee. Davis stays in the block. Out route thrown and dropped. That drop coming from Stephon Robinson, one of the team's better receivers. I got to see him again play earlier on in the year. And he definitely had a good showing against Elk Grove, but it's 4th and 2 here. 5:07 on the game clock for those of you turning in. The defensive team now, Franklin High, is leading 35-0 in the 3rd quarter. Lincoln High has to go for it here. Shotgun for Greenlee. Drops back, throws deep downfield, nowhere near his target, and a turnover on downs. Here comes Franklin again.
Yeah, that was amazing. He just happened to did Greenlee outthrow Osha Washington on that one. I don't know if that was miscommunication, but he had a better chance of hitting Donovan Vernon, the defensive back for the Wildcats, as he had a better shot at the ball. Nonetheless, it's going right back to the Wildcats in excellent field position, and we are looking for them to continuously put some more points on this board, as they haven't really been stopped yet here tonight.
On the far hash mark, left side of the field for them, far side for us, Fonbuena's the tailback. And it's going to Fonbuena. Fonbuena going to break through the holes.
Wow.
And he's still going, gets down to the 10-yard line.
Wow. This is a playoff game?
It's really amazing to see. I can't say, Jason, that Lincoln looks that bad. It's that Franklin is just playing out of their minds.
It's really, Wildcats are making them look kind of bad, to be honest with you.
It's by the work of the Wildcats,
Yeah,
not necessarily the quality of the work of the Trojans.
It's the excessive quality of the Wildcats'
oh my
offense.
Goodness.
They are just picking apart this defense. Even a small hole can drive a big rig through at this point, it looks like, because they are just doing anything and everything they want. As he finds another hole and takes it in for a touchdown, does Christian Fonbuena.
That's a touchdown. It's chipped in. So currently 6 for 6 is the extra point kicker for Franklin. And that brings them to a total of 42 points. 5 rushing touchdowns and 1 throwing. So here comes the extra point, the special teams. And these Franklin High fans have so many things to be happy about. I'm seeing all of them just, they're dancing, they're having a blast. This is a party on this side of the field.
I'm glad I'm on this side of the field.
It's definitely the more positive atmosphere.
I'm here to party.
Back to return for Lincoln High, number 10, Deshaun Campbell, as well as number 22, Justin Davis.
I'm going to be really, really shocked if Lincoln doesn't put up at least 1 touchdown in this game.
Right. That would be a complete surprise Short kick goes to Osha Washington, pushed out of bounds around the 30, stopping the clock at 4:24.
I can't imagine how this Lincoln offense is feeling right now to have such dominant people as Zach Greenlee and Justin Davis in the backfield and backfield and quarterback, and not be able to score a touchdown as you beat Merced 52-7 last week.
Right,
52 points, and to come here and to get 0 points and almost 3 full quarters of football. That's not what you want to do if you want to continue on to this playoffs and on your quest for the state championship.
And Franklin High did have a sluggish start last week, but they ultimately did win 35-14 over Nevada Union. They actually had 6 first-half turnovers. And then the story is similar to this. They just started running all over Nevada Union. And it seems like since halftime last week, Franklin has been playing like this, and they have not looked back. That run going for no gain for Davis. 2nd and 10 for Lincoln High. Shotgun now. Greenlee drops back, throws to the far side of the field, and there was a bit of contact in the air, but in the end, good coverage coming from number 21, Marcus Green.
Yeah, that was solid defensive play by Marcus Green. He just blanketed his wide receiver, gave the quarterback not too many options to make the pass, and the pass was thrown or overthrown. So another failed down for this Lincoln offense, and it brings up a 3rd and 10, and it's really just been a story of defense here and / offense. Just all around great playing by both sides of the ball for the Franklin Wildcats.
Lincoln dropping back, and that throw waiting for it, and it is going to be called incomplete. So that's going to make it 4th and 10, and here comes the Lincoln High punting unit with 3:42 to go in the third. I do want to jump back. You mentioned Lincoln High beating Merced 52-7. Prior to that, they played Lodi as well. Lodi High Flames, and they won 56-27.
Yeah, it looks like their past 3 games were 52 points, 56 points, 52 points, 62 points, 42 points. Man,
55. They've scored over 40 points in the past 7 weeks.
And they've scored 0 here tonight.
And they've scored 0 tonight.
I'm going to give my hats off to the Wildcats defense right now.
As the Wildcats special teams brings the ball up to the 40-yard line. And here comes their offense, which is play. You know, I mean, if you choose a player of the game here, I feel like it's at this point, unless Lincoln really turns their game around, it's going to be either the Franklin offense or the Franklin defense.
You don't really know who to take it. At this point, I want to bring all 77 players up to the booth and interview each one of them because they are playing absolutely amazing and as a very solid team. A little quick update for you. Antelope was able to go down and get a touchdown and brings that game a little bit closer as it's 28-21 Buhack Colony over Antelope right now in the 4th quarter.
And here is the I formation goes to the fullback. Looks like Rogers is going to take that one. And he's going to push forward for 7 yards.
Man, even the fullback gets 7 yards.
Yeah, and for he's not a typical fullback.
No, he's quick as he took that one pretty long on that on one of them earlier.
Yeah, he's a 5'9", 185-pound fullback. Not exactly what you'd expect. He's definitely a runner as we get word from the referee to properly set the clock. 3:08 now as the clock runs down. And again, 42-point lead in the 3rd quarter. Here's the draw going to the left side, and that's going to go to Harris. And he's going to get a bit past the line of scrimmage, 3rd and short.
Well, if you guys are paying attention to this game and you guys are Franklin High fans, as I see everybody on their phones kind of trying to check some scores in the area, if you're paying attention, Granite Bay has scored another touchdown. They are up 48-14 on Downey, and that game is still in the 3rd quarter. So, like I said, if both games keep continuing the way they are, it's going to be Franklin versus Granite Bay next week here in the semifinals, I believe, of the division.
And that's completely... both teams playing rather well as a draw looks like it makes it toward the 1st down marker, judging by this line judge. And if that 3rd and short is converted, then the day is going to get longer for Lincoln High. And that's it. So 1st down for Franklin. And I think with 2 minutes to go in the 3rd, at this point they are going to continue running the ball, not only because it moves the clock, but because Lincoln has not been able to do anything to stop it. Here is, it's looking like going to be an I formation. They've been coming out in the same formation here, except a bit of adjustment with their 3 wide receiver set. And that is going to go to Steven Rogers. Gain of 4.
Man, this is a real showing by this Wildcat offense and defense. Man, if I have to play any team in the rest of this playoffs, I specifically buy the DVD on PlayOnSports.com to this game, and I send it to my opponents and tell them to watch, because you're not going to be able to stop it.
If they play like this, if they shut down an offense that has scored over 40 points in like 6-7 weeks in a row to 0 points at this point, it's really something else. And Fonbuena is going to take the counter to the right side off tackle.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. As much as the players might not enjoy it, I might call Coach Michael Johnson up here for the player of the game interview, as he has coached his kids awesomely for this game.
And from what I've heard about him, definitely not one who would want to steal the spotlight too much, but he's definitely somebody we would be asking about, because he clearly prepared for this game at this point flawlessly. Motion to the left, and that is going to be another 1st down. That was for Robert Sanders, number 20. Robert Sanders is a junior, was somebody who is not their main ball carrier, but he is having very little trouble as well. As we tick down, the clock stops for a bit, but there's under 30 seconds to go in the quarter.
Man, I don't know. I'm almost speechless up here. They are playing dominant football.
It's definitely a situation. I look to the left here on the press booth, and there are various forms of media up here, and everybody seems to have the same stunned look on their face as Franklin High is playing out of their minds. Draw going to go up the middle. Gain of 4 or 5 tends to be the standard. I believe this time that was number 1 for Franklin. Or my apologies, number 7. And that looks like Joey Banks. So that's the end of the 3rd quarter, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. PlayOnSports.com's internet broadcast. As to summarize the game, 7 touchdowns for the Franklin High Wildcats, as you can see on the top of your screen. 0 coming from Lincoln High, but Franklin High 6 rushing touchdowns, and 1 through the air. And it's really been impressive. It's like at the beginning of the game, there was a punt that was a low snap. Punter's knee hit the ground on the 1 yard line, and Franklin had to push it in just for 1 yard. And the tone of the game has not changed since that first score.
And that play alone has pretty much described exactly what has been happening for the entire Lincoln team this whole game. They haven't had one break go their way. I think they actually they did have one break. They had a fumble that was called back, but it ended up leading back to them getting the ball as the Wildcats.
Right. So as we do get word from Franklin High staff, with a 42-point lead in a playoff game, it is looking like we are going to have a running clock for the 4th quarter.
Wow.
Which I'm in my I'm a handful of years past high school now, but in my time of watching high school football in this area, I never heard of or saw a running clock in the 4th quarter. It's a or at least to start the 4th quarter, and by a score that was determined several minutes before the 4th quarter. Here's a run to the left side for Rogers, and he's not going to get too much third down.
Yeah, I covered a game earlier this year. I believe it was Vacaville versus
Yeah,
Rodriguez,
definitely.
and they ended up going into a running clock in the fourth quarter as Vacaville was looking just amazing. Vacaville, I believe, is still in the playoffs, too, as well, so don't have any scores on them. I don't know if they're playing tonight or tomorrow, but nonetheless, good luck to the Vacaville Bulldogs.
Yeah, they. I remember that they got to enjoy that game with you, and the score kept going back and forth, and the clock is currently stopped here with 11:38 as we have discussion from the referees. It seems like an official's stopping of the clock, and it's going to continue running. But we have more looks coming around the press booth. But Franklin High is going to run from the pistol here. Or, never mind. That's what I was about to say. Hey, I didn't think that was in their playbook. And that's going to be an end around going to Fonbuena.
Ooh,
Fonbuena
nice stiff arm.
still going on his feet. Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
That stiff arm to getting around. That
was a great play by Christian Fonbuena. He made the Heisman
Unbelievable.
Trophy move with the stiff arm. He did that very nicely. He pulled the Al Bundy Polk High move right there and made a nice stiff arm and made a nice juke move as well as he's coming off the field. A little bit of a helmet malfunction, but what a play by Christian Fonbuena.
Helmet popped off, so the clock looks like it's stopping to move the chains. Now, I wonder if there is a different policy.
Well, as all the Wildcats are trying to get the guy up in the booth to keep it moving, he's moving with what the referee is telling him to do.
Right.
When the referee tells him to stop the clock, he's got to do that. As much as he would like to keep the clock moving for these Wildcats,
right.
It's all up to that guy in the white hat out there.
Perhaps there are different rules in playoffs. We will get that checked out. I do apologize. And a snap. There's a break for Lincoln.
That was the first mistake of the entire game for the Wildcats.
And Lincoln High now is going to get the ball. So the clock will be at 10:32. It is running now as it drops below 10.5 minutes. So the clock running during this change of possession. So Lincoln High really going to have to work hard here to get something. And the only chance for even a miracle here is if they get within striking distance, get a touchdown, and get this running clock to stop. Motion now to the left side for Greenlee. Greenlee hands it off to Davis.
This is the fourth quarter, correct?
Yes.
Okay, the scoreboard still says third.
I see. So, yeah, we're in the fourth quarter.
I looked over and I was like, wait a minute, did I miss something? I thought we were in the fourth quarter.
Or maybe, even just the question of that can perplexed me up here. But, yeah, the clock continues to move. 9.5 minutes left in the game, 2nd and 8. And over on the bottom of your screen there, Osha Washington lined up. And Greenlee's going to look to his left, hits his target. His target gets out of bounds there.
That's Stephon Robinson on the reception there for the Lincoln High Trojans. I know we're not supposed to root for any team up here in the booth, but I would be lying to you if I didn't say I want to see Lincoln go get at least one touchdown in this game.
Absolutely.
They deserve to at least get some points. Man, what a season to come in before this game and averaging at least 40 points a game. 52 points last week. I believe they scored 62 in the past couple weeks.
Past few weeks, and over 50 in the weeks in between. And here's the power formation for Davis. Davis's blockers cannot get anywhere, and that's a loss. That's the tale. You've got a potentially likely USC. It's a pretty play when a defensive back decides to play for the interception as opposed to the bat down. But, boy, that could have really backfired had Washington gotten his mitts on it. .732 on the running clock, 3rd and 12. 2 wide receivers to the left, to the right. As only one goes out, and Greenlee throws a difficult out route. As that is from the far hash mark, that was a casually thrown ball that went much further than the yards show, but in the end, it's now going to be 4th and 3. And Greenlee made it. Beautiful touch throw on that, but it's only going to go for about 10 yards, 6:53 on the game clock. Looks like it's going to be a shotgun. 2 wide receivers on the short half of the field over here. Greenlee going to throw to the far side. Same route, opposite side of the field. First down on 4th.
Total of 10 first downs. I'm going to just throw that number out there because I know it hasn't been any more than that. If it is more than 10, it's like maybe 11.
Yeah, it might be. I don't know if it's even pushing 10. That run there from Davis going to the left side stopped at the line of scrimmage, 2nd and 10.
Another update for you guys. Buhat Colony went down and got another touchdown. They are now up 35-21 in the 4th quarter there against the Antelope.
3 wide receiver set. Greenlee from the gun. Drops back, takes a big drop, and he throws deep. Overthrows his target. It seems like that deep ball, which Lincoln High clearly relies on, just hasn't been on target.
Yeah, that we've seen a play earlier where he was able to get a nice throw right into his receiver's hands, but since that throw, he just hasn't really been on tonight. I don't know if the travel here from Stockton maybe affected him. I don't know if the rain or the wetness has affected him.
And in his defense, there have been multiple drop balls by his receivers. So it seems like this offense, even when they do have opportunity, which has been far and few between because of this Franklin High defense, they have not been able to capitalize. Greenlee off his back foot, hits his target, who gets laid out over the middle. On the reception there was Ravon Alexander.
Yeah, that was it looks like Trevon Lampley with the tackle.
That is Lampley indeed. So he's been doing it all today. 4:23 on the running clock.
Yeah, that was a very nice tackle by Lampley. He almost affected that pass.
Now, so at this point, Franklin High, we expect, will be back here this week, or in a week, to play the winner of the Granite Bay versus Downey game. Here is Greenlee getting flushed out of the pocket, and he just has to throw that one away. Good footwork by him there, but honestly, he didn't have much opportunity to do anything else.
Yeah, coming into this game, I had heard the name Greenlee and Davis. That had been 2 names that I had been thrown at me a lot. We covered a couple of soccer games in Stockton last week. We were talking to a couple of the guys in the booth, and they were telling me that these 2 kids are absolutely amazing. And to have 2 kids on one offense who are one going to USC, one going to Fresno State, man, again, hats off to this Wildcat defense to be able to hold them to no points in the entire game with 3 minutes, 20 seconds to go in this game as we get a timeout.
So the clock will stop at 3 minutes and 20 seconds, as my partner Jason Patterson just pointed out. Now, Jason, it's kind of funny. We've, to be completely honest, been kind of having our post-game show here, as this running clock in the 4th quarter really emphasizes that, the rule is there because it's virtually out of reach for Lincoln High, and we do want to credit them on a good season. But Franklin High's vision is clearly going to be, they're obviously taking it a game at a time, but they're going to start looking forward to next week. And I hope that this success doesn't make them think too much about even the next month, because they probably have a tough matchup who is likely going to be Granite Bay at this point.
Well, if they can do exactly what they did tonight, they will have no problem beating any team in this area.
Right.
As they have played flawless football, I think they only had 1 turnover, and that was on the fumble that just happened led to this drive by the Trojans. I think
Greenlee rolling out, and that was a panic play as Greenlee got rid of the ball instead of throwing it away. As the clock continues to roll, now past 3 minutes, it seemed like he had nothing to work with, so he just threw to empty space and kind of hoped his receiver could make it there in time. Intended receiver Stephon Robinson.
Yeah, man, I don't know exactly what to say here, as we're using this last 2 minutes, 45 seconds to pretty much try to contemplate which one of these 77 kids we're going to have come up here for the player of the game interview, as they've all played great. Man, what a solid teamwork that they have showed here tonight.
Greenlee from the gun. 3 wide receiver set. Keeps his blockers in, and Doyle, he has a quick release. He's a good-looking quarterback, especially on that first down there. 2 minutes and 15 seconds. It's just it hasn't worked often enough on the evening.
Yeah, despite the abilities that Greenlee has at quarterback and Davis at running back, this is a team game, and Wildcats are coming in here and proving that one as their 77 kids are outmatching the amount of kids on the other side, as I don't know the exact number to the Lincoln High, but I can tell you is substantially less than 77.
Yeah, remember, you got to be able to have that many helmets as Greenlee drops back, throws toward the end zone, and there is a touchdown for Lincoln High. Well-deserved. Ravon Alexander on the reception. And with 1:38 to go, the score is now 42-6.
Yeah, that's his third touchdown of the year for Alexander. Couldn't come at a better time. At least the Lincoln High Trojans won't get blanked.
Yeah, and that was a great route, that post coming over the middle. Split the safeties. Greenlee looked him off perfectly. And you know, that's...
Where has that been?
That's kind of it. I can only imagine the Lincoln High fans on the other side of the field, that's what they got to be asking is, you know, that looked easy.
Yeah, well, then again, Franklin High does know that they're on a running clock, 42
right.
42 nothing.
A different game at this point as trips bunch to the right for Greenlee. It looks like they're going to go for 2. He's going to drop back to throw. His receiver slipped in the end zone. And the score is now 42-6 with 1:38 to go. No longer a running clock with those 6 points on the board, but there is still only 1:38 to go.
Yeah, you have to anticipate that the Wildcats are just going to come out here and run the ball. As Antelope High School is trying to drive down the field on Buhack here late in the fourth quarter. They're running a hurry-up offense. They're just got inside the Buhack Colony territory. They're at about the 30, 35, 36-yard line. So Antelope trying to get this game a little bit closer and move on in their playoffs.
2 back to receive for Franklin, as I wanted to see how Lincoln High is going to handle this kickoff. Only their second time kicking off for the entire game, and it's going to squib down, bouncing its way all the way to the 18. Franklin recovers, and more than recovers. There goes Harris at number 17. He's going to get past the 40. 1:20 on the clock, actually, as it does continue to run.
So 1 play, 2 plays, that should do it here. Ooh, excuse me.
The ball on the 41. I can only imagine, yes, this is the victory formation. A knee will be taken a few times, and these Franklin fans have to be ecstatic.
Yeah.
Jason, you and I have been covering football in the area this whole season. I have not seen an offense or defense play this well individually on any team. This has been a phenomenal showing.
Phenomenal indeed. I like that too. Trent Spallis just keeps telling Lampley to get back there. Oh, sorry, that's Harris back there in the back. He just keeps telling him, go back, keep going, go farther, just in case, because we don't want to get any chances. We want to go on and play Granite Bay next week. Man, and if they play like this, that's going to be one heck of a game, Granite Bay versus Franklin.
We are looking forward to it. We will keep having these playoff games covered as the Franklin High fans come to their feet. Franklin shaking the hands of both Lincoln High as well as the referees. You hear the air horn. That is the celebration as right there, as we do have at the end of this game now, I do want to declare the final score, 42-6 for Franklin High. A phenomenal showing. And do we have another update from around the area?
We're gonna go ahead and step away here before the post-game show, but we would like to invite you guys to go ahead and tune into the Buhack Colony Antelope game, also on PlayOnSports.com, as that game is getting quite tight there as Antelope is trying to drive down here late in the fourth quarter to try to make it a one-score game. So go back to Greg here as we're going to take away and head out for the post-game show.
We'll be back for post-game, but 42-6 is the final. Franklin High having one of the best showings in the area all season. PlayOnSports.com, your destination for high school sports. We'll be back with post-game right after this.
We can get a player up here.
Ah, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the PlayOn School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
4th and 10 from the 41-yard line for St. Augustine. Kennedy dropping back to pass. Looking left, firing, incomplete, intended for Noland. No penalty flags on the field. Mar Vista will take over on downs, and Jordan Lertique will take that knee. And the Mar Vista Mariners knock off the number 2 seeded St. Augustine Saints at Mesa College in a dominating performance on both sides of the football for Mar Vista. They trailed 14-0 and came back.
Again, down 2-0, facing adversity. And they've really just turned the table around since game number 3. Set an attack. Great block made back inside the Maverick zone. A chance there by Bosback back inside the Maverick zone. Ball attacked there by Bosback. A second opportunity by Bosback. Lip violation call. Winner. It's over the neck call. Oh my goodness. Bosback reached over on the attack. A Maverick error wraps up the title for the Presentation Panthers. A 15-9 victory in game number 5, and they wrap it up coming back from 2-0 down match-wise and take it 3 games to 2.
36-35 and driving, and oh, baby! Shrigley with the jam, and it was with emphasis. And it's the foul, and listen to these fans.
Do you know who's standing up right behind us? Tony Bland, who is the head recruiter for San Diego State. I think he's drooling. Somebody get that man a napkin.
Quick score on this drive. There goes a handoff to Zeller, trying to go straight ahead, but he is met by Wall. Now he breaks out to the outside, gets across the 30, 35, on the right, 40, midfield. He's running down the sidelines. He's going to go all the way as he's at the 10, 5, touchdown. Patrick Zeller stood up at the line of scrimmage and broke out to his left to the far sidelines, and he was in a foot race, and he went all the way for the touchdown. Broke a tackle and made it nice and showed his speed as he got outside for the touchdown.
Back in the backfield to the left is Campbell. Hernandez takes the snap, play action to Campbell. Looks down the field. Now here comes the pressure. He's going to be hit. He breaks the tackle, rolls left. Now he's going to cut upfield. He's going to break another tackle, and then another tackle down the sideline. Gets a block inside the 5. What a touchdown! Hernandez goes 33 yards in spectacular fashion, breaking 4 tackles along the way, including 2 in the backfield, and Hilltop has tied this one up at 29.
Grant with a big, strong defensive rebound. He brings it back down the floor again, and another slam dunk. Jeremy Grant can run the point, and he can fly. Huge dunk, 2 big dunks in the last
Bullard
minute.
trying to close it out. Deep ball, up in the air, Cram. Bringing it back, Arbizo. Cram over in 3, free opportunity. Look for Rodabaugh. No, pass middle, Weimer.
Ball game.
25-19. Foothill wins it 3-1.
Because this kid has definitely proven that he can make things happen here in this ball game.
They will go with him. Bula Graft on a stretch run, just breaking tackles. The little man is in the clear to Tory territory. The 25, the 20, the 10, the 5. Touchdown Knights. What a run, the freshman, Bula Graft.
Ooh, I tell you what. There were at least 3 times on that run that he should have gone down or he should have been wrapped up. Missed tackles there cost La Jolla Country Day as Bula Graft, the freshman running back for Bishops, is able to take it in. And that was a determined run there, Andy.
So 1st and 10. Brandon Lewis in the shotgun. Has time to throw. And he will fire, and he has a man diving catch. Did he hold on to it? He did. What a catch from Kendall Keys. And that may be the KBC Sports Player of the Week.
What a catch he laid himself out there, and a great throw, as you said. Read it nicely, did Lewis, and really caught his receiver on the go, and just kind of put it out there right on the outstretch of his fingertips. He laid out, and he made a catch.
1-1.
You know when a pitcher is behind an account and throws his breaking ball, he's feeling it.
The pitch is going to be fisted to second base on a liner, and the ball is caught by McGrew, and Valley Christian wins the game on a Cameron Stewart no-hitter.
Wow, what a way to go out if you're Cameron Stewart. A no-no in the championship game. If there's scouts out there, they had to be impressed by this young kid's velocity, control, and breaking ball all worked well today. He had it going for this Valley Christian team.
What a gem. He's going to give it to Tyree on an exchange against the zone, do a little three-man weave. This is Tyrell back with it. Tyrell's going to go lob backdoor. Tyree Robinson with a flush.
Now that was nice. Very nice design play.
Uwaba back there. Bogart takes a snap. He's going to run the play. He's going to throw. He's got a man open at the 10. It's underthrown. It's incomplete. No, or is it caught? It is a catch. Wow, juggling catch inside the 5-yard line. Maliga. Was that Maliga pulling that one in? It is Maliga. Boy, that ball was deflected by one of the Falcons, and then Maliga, he lands on the ground and pulls it in. What a catch.
3 men in the backfield, back to the wing. This time inside counter to Telefaro. No, they're going to throw this one. He's got a man open. And what a catch! What a grab by tight end Joe Gigantino. He must have bobbled that ball 4 times in the air, and he was actually tipped by the defender and had the presence of mind to keep his concentration and make the grab. Unbelievable catch. And the ball at the 29-yard line of the Eagles, and you can see the defense, they're still bewildered. How did he come up with that grab?
Even with 2 defenders around him and 4 big. That's so unconventional for a guy to handle the ball so well. January with the one-hand jam.
He was not going to be denied there. Coming over was Milmo.
Bradshaw Christian's going to bring the starting unit out on the field one more time just to take a knee. 10 seconds left. They better hurry it up. Actually, they're going to try a field goal for Lawson. They're going to run out of time. Are they going to take? There's a snap, and they aren't even going to get the kickoff. They tried to hustle Lawson out there for a field goal opportunity to see if they could get her one. But it does not matter. They don't get the punt off in time. Drew Rickert just got the Gatorade shower on the sideline. Bradshaw Christian is your winner, 62-6. The final score. They are your D6 titleists this year. You're in 2000.
5 seconds left. Clock winding down. Poway has won the title. 56-0 over the Vista Panthers. The championship goes to Poway.
Well, your double wing T option offense down by 5. They're going to have to spread it out. They go with 3 receivers to the near side. That's the short side. 1 solo left. Back to throw. McHugh under pressure. Rolls out of it. Now he's dumped and dropped. And that's the last thing they could handle. And that's not what they could do. Bellerman now can't stop the clock. 4, 3, and that is going to do it. Santa Margarita, coming back from the dead, has won the Division I State Bowl Championship 42-37 in an improbable comeback against Bellarmine of San Jose. And the Bellarmine players on the field, on their knees, just absolutely dejected after playing just a gut-wrenching football
Menlo
game.
really wants to get the leadoff man aboard here, trailing 6-4. Good way to come back against a team that just took the lead against you is to get some runs of your own. If they shut you down, that gives them even more confidence going into the 5th inning. The 3-1 pitch is rocketed to deep right center field, away back, and this one is out of here. A home run for Freddie Avis.
Wow. The leadoff hitter has two of the deepest hits we've seen all day up to this point. And that one on the inner half, we talked about it. You got to stay away from a guy like that. Right in his powerhouse, inner half of the plate, and rips it to right
About how
center.
he's going to throw the football on this play. Westlake might have been daring him to do so. Just joking, though, folks. Peros is going to take a knee. He does.
And welcome back to the audio portion of this concluding game. Again, 42-6 was the final score. We are not going to have a player interview at this point, and you know it makes sense because there was just so many people to choose from. But you know we do have to give credit to both teams. Greg Cott alongside Jason Patterson. Jason, you know we can go over the numbers. You know Lincoln High scored more than 40 points for about 7 weeks in a row. And tonight they were held to 6. Well, what do you think Franklin High did that nobody else could do?
Execute.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to go with because there has been no better showing of football that I've seen this entire year.
Right.
I've covered at least 15 games this year. That game was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and you know, it was a one-sided game in the fourth quarter. I'll admit, we were running out of things to talk about because the story was already written with a good 15, 20 minutes of clock time left. And it was unbelievable, this showing, as we get to watch the field. You know, I mean, honestly, people were ready to be packed up before the fourth quarter is over. The scoreboard's shut off. The lights are getting shut down. We're the last people in the press booth. It's just everybody knew this game was over, you know, probably even at halftime.
Well, you know, normally when you come out here and you cover a blowout, it can get a little bit boring. But this wasn't just your normal blowout.
Right.
This was a blowout with perfectly executed football. This if you're going to teach little kids how to play football, you're going to play tonight's game and tell them do whatever the guys in the purple do because they looked absolutely amazing out there tonight.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Lincoln High. Now, we do want to mention phenomenal season for Lincoln High, particularly Greenlee and Davis running that offensive show as they dropped, you know, we mentioned 40, 50, 60 points throughout the past 6-7 weeks. And here they came out, they looked flat-footed, they looked beat. It didn't seem to matter. I was completely blown away by the level of execution that they had at every layer. Their running backs, their quarterback, their receivers, their offensive line, their defensive line, their linebackers, their secondary, their special teams. I mean, they even made every extra point. It's like, you know, every single minor detail, Jason, was just executed perfectly.
Yeah, definitely. If you can come out and stop an explosive offense like the Lincoln Trojans, who we explained throughout this entire game, had averaged about 45, 50 points in the past 6 games. Right, they won last week in the first round of playoffs, 52-7, and they managed 6 points here tonight. So
unbelievable.
That'll just explain to you how well this Wildcat defense played. And man, if I'm any other team, if I'm Granite Bay, even after coming out and stomping all over Downey, I am nervous to come here into Elk Grove and play these Franklin Wildcats in front of their home field crowd.
You know they're going to be watching this film very closely because there is going to be a lot to observe. But I hope that they just don't get too intimidated. And I think the only way that this could hurt Franklin is if it goes to their head. Because they did just play, like we said, I'm going to say it, for me, best game I've seen all season. Best performance I've seen by any team.
When you come into the first round of playoffs and you give up 6 early turnovers and still come back to win and follow that with this dominant performance,
they're on fire.
They are a force to be reckoned with here in the Sac-Joaquin section and in the entire state of California. I'm going to put it out there. If I'm going to pick a team from Sacramento to go all the way, it's the Franklin High Wildcats right now.
It's actually, I can't disagree because of what I've seen. Now, there have been there's plenty of football, and football's football.
That's why I said out of Sacramento.
You know, and that's why it's kind of an intense sport. You see this happen all the time, you know. And, you know, there were probably people from Lincoln who are feeling good about that potential too, and then tonight happened. You know, and it can happen to anybody.
That's why they play the games.
Yeah, that's why you play the games, exactly. It's not all about statistics. It's not about predictions. People can beat anybody at a playoff situation, but I can't, for Granite Bay, I can't tell them what they should attack, what they should try to exploit, because honestly, this Franklin High team looked good everywhere.
There's too many weapons on there, but yeah, it's gonna do it here for us up here in the booth.
That is gonna do
it. As we're
it.
Getting looks from this cleaning crew, wondering why we are still in here. So.
It's because we're still just, you know, getting excited. Not all the words we want to say over and over again about how good Franklin looked. But again, that is going to do it for PlayOnSports.com, for our crew here, for Jason, for Nathan, and for Victor, you know, and myself, Greg. What a wonderful showing by Franklin High. Check out PlayOnSports.com. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Fitter and Tastebook. We will be back later this week. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen.